Greetings, geeks, and welcome to a special Geeks in Space After Dark. This is number 445. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda. This is our Superman special. I'm here today with, right now, two of the finest geeks that you are ever going to meet that are willing to pretend that they're in low Earth orbit and talk about 1978 Superman. I have Chris DeBona.
Hello, welcome to the Neck Review.
And
It's
Nate
like necromancy and review. Neck Review.
Neck Review? Nate?
That's what I'm
Just
going
to be clear, I'm in low Earth orbit on Krypton, and I'm going to have to find a new spot very soon.
You better book.
About 14 minutes into the movie.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I should get my notes up. It does take a pretty long time for 1978 Superman to get off of Krypton.
Okay,
Wow.
So one thing I would like to point out and that confused me was just the number of different cuts of Superman that are available.
Right?
It's like I found one that was the shortest one I found was about an hour and a half. The one that I actually downloaded was 3 hours, 8 minutes.
You chose poorly.
You chose really poorly.
No, I have. So it's not like Superman 2. Superman 2 has the Donner cut, which is the cut you want. This one, Wikipedia had it listed as like 3 hours 10. The version that was from my DVD was like 223.
Yeah, I have a 223 cut.
I don't know which. What I really wish I knew is what was the version that I had on the VHS cassette tape when I was a little kid.
Probably aired on TV.
Right, which probably had like 20 minutes cut out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was probably the butthole cut.
The butthole cut of Superman?
Well, I'm actually watching, so I've got it open, and when I was trying to find the time chop for this one thing I wanted to talk about, and I paused it, and he is groping the crap out of Margot Kidder. Here, go to 51:58.
Well, hold on.
All right.
We'll get there, man.
All right, we'll get there. But I mean, wow.
Right.
Holy crow.
So, okay, here's the thing I didn't remember. I don't remember, and maybe this is because I watched the TV cut. I don't remember it opening with this full cut from the comic.
I'm pretty sure
Me neither.
I'm pretty sure it did not do that.
But one of the things that comes up right when this is over is who wrote the movie, and it blew me away. I did not know.
Oh, you didn't know Godfather?
I didn't know it was Mario effing Puzo.
Yeah. So the backstory behind this movie is nuts. They got all the money in the universe to dump into this license. They got Gene Hackman, who cost them a fortune. They got Richard Donner, who was a pretty big deal at the time. But check this out. This whole intro is all about how reporters are good and the Daily Planet is like great. And I'm like, it's kind of interesting to look at a movie from 1978 where you could actually unironically say, look at the press. It's good.
Yep. The nobility of the press.
Yes. The nobility, the defenders of truth and justice.
Right? But
clarity.
So they've got the fake movie curtains down the side. I don't know if that's going to show up.
So weird.
Yeah, I know.
I can see it.
Yeah, but
I'm sure
as the camera pans back, they change the aspect ratio as the curtains open to a widescreen movie. And I got to tell you, man, I have a pretty damn powerful, strong spot in my heart for any movie. Wait for it. Oh, the credits fly right out of the curtains. I love it so much.
Can you imagine if this was done during the 3D days? How much hay they would make from this? They'd be like, this is like in the 1920s when people pooped their pants when the train came at them, which probably never happened.
I am 90% sure this was not in the original 1978 theatrical.
I don't remember
release.
that.
No, the titles were, but that intro, the kissing butt of Daily Planet's reputation.
No, the Star Wars-esque.
Yeah. Well, this is
the titles. Yeah, sure.
Well, this would have been the year before Star Wars came out, right?
1 year later.
Yeah.
It's John Williams, and I assume he's got the job maybe even before. I mean, he got the Star Wars job off Jaws, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, just this, ever since I watched this last night, I cannot stop thinking of. Dude,
it is the best music. So let's see. I want to see if I can find, if I have my time code. Oh yeah, the dome. So I have serious questions about the structural integrity of this dome.
Well, it's not just a dome; it's a rotating dome.
Right. Oh, are they not going to show it? They show it. No, they show it when they throw the bad boys into space.
Yeah.
Because they open the dome. But okay.
Marlon Brando.
What a ham this
Probably
guy
the
was.
finest role of his career.
Yeah. Yeah. Just he's so cheesy.
He's kind of
he's such a cheeseball. You know?
He's kind of perfect for this, man.
Oh no, he's I'm going to prosecute. Because full Perry Mason, it's so stupid. Hey, keep going.
I thought it was more of a Cicero, but yeah.
I like that the council or whatever this is, they're practicing good social distancing. They're from their remote
video conferencing. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we did miss one thing in the titles. So first, Mario Puzo is the writer. We mentioned that briefly. That's really important. The idea that you would get Mario Puzo coming off of Godfather, right? Or was this before Godfather? No, this is coming off of Godfather.
It's after.
To do this, you know? Like
he wrote like a 700-page treatment or something, just Looney Tunes.
Whoa.
And they were going to do 2 movies, and that's the whole story about why Superman 2 got all screwed up, because they shot both movies simultaneously. And this is like way before The Matrix did that, right? The Matrix did it, and everybody's like, you guys are nuts filming 2 movies at once. How could you do that? But they did that with this movie, and they chickened out after like filming like 3/4 of Superman 2. And then basically they made them recut the movie, made them shoot a couple of things, finish it up, and then Donner was out for Superman 2. So basically none of the Mario Puzo stuff is like none of it makes sense because it all got chopped out and moved around.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to point out from the titles was they mentioned they dedicated it, in this cut anyway, to Jeffrey Unsworth, Order of the British Empire, Jeffrey Unsworth. And he also worked on 2001. With Kubrick. I mean, he was kind of amazing. So he died like a month and a half before it premiered. So they dedicated to him, which is kind of nice. That's all.
This has kind of the same era of special effects as Empire Strikes Back, because before this, whenever you did any compositing, you always had to go through the stupid blue screen step, and then you had those really ugly matte lines, which is why Star Wars looks so great in 1977, right? Because you're shooting spaceships on a black background and nobody can notice that. This movie and then the Hoth sequences on Star Wars are like the first real successful attempts of compositing like stuff that's not on a starfield.
Well, one of the things they do in this movie a lot, whenever they composite, you can tell because they add a fog effect to soften the edges and the arrows. They do it all over the Fortress of Solitude. They do it all over, Krypton. It just literally, like I thought I was squinting and I needed to clean my screen. My projector bulb, the whole time.
The thing that I guess worked out for them on that then is that when they use his face in the 2000s Bryan Singer Superman, it's just still blurry and whatever. It's the same deal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm glad that they have all these characters that you don't see again in this movie.
I know, it's so weird. And then they send them off to the neutral zone or the phantom zone or the quantum realm, wherever they send them. And then that cool rotatey thing.
I do like the hula hoop whatever restraint.
Yeah.
They don't have
they couldn't get past that.
And they don't have a yellow sun here, so they're just like regular dudes. They don't get to punch astronauts until later.
Yeah.
So this is the thing that I just loved watching this dome open. I mean, this is a cool shot. I mean, this is straight up cool stuff. But when the ping pong ball is 3/4 of the way open, like, so are we to believe that like this entire structure is like cantilevered 3/4 of the way over?
It's I mean, look at this thing.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be like what, 30, 40 feet thick?
Right, but so here's the stopping point. Look at the angle of the ping pong ball. What is holding up that platform? I'm worried.
You could have a pillar, a sideways pillar, sort of holding it up. I mean, you could do it.
I know you can, but it just doesn't seem smart.
It's not practical, but you could totally do it. And you could have a pin going through it and going into both sides. Can we please watch the Quantum Realm?
Oh yeah.
I loved this scene as a kid. I was 7 years old when I saw this.
This scared the crap out of me. Like, this is one of like a handful.
I thought it was legit cool.
Terrifying.
I'm like, I wouldn't want to be in the I'm terrible. What do they call it? What?
Phantom
Zone.
But yeah, watching
them became an album cover. They became
Yeah,
like
it does
a
look like an
weird
album cover.
This is like
Scandinavian album cover.
this is Genesis's next release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
No, as a kid, them people screaming in that mirror was like one of those images that truly does stick with me.
Yeah. I have a thing coming at 17:59, but I'm sure you must have something in
Well,
between.
no, I wanted to say first off, I just love all of their glowing suits.
Yeah.
It looks
And
like
they have their little logos. They have their
Yeah.
Tron logos. Everyone's got their own little symbol.
It's
you
so
know?
cool. I mean, I know it's totally dated and cheesy, but I love this. It just looks
Well, I
so
mean,
cool.
it must have been like a glass matte fabric or something back then, like, and they were just like shining it with like light.
So here was another thing that I realized. If you were to cast a movie like this today, I don't know that you're able to. That woman is like 40, and they cast like an older actress to play this. I
She
don't think
was
you do that.
a
You cast
legend,
somebody
right?
like 10 years younger now if you wanted her with an infant, and you would just ignore the fact that Brando is like 30 years older.
Yeah, but that was Susanna York, right? I mean, she was a big deal back then. She was like Tom Jones's, paramour. I mean,
She's very unusual. I think they had like
no,
16
I'm
years.
sorry.
I
She
think there
was
was
with Albert.
16 years between them. There's a lot of the casting in this movie, particularly with the women, is like you don't do that anymore. Like women have been cast younger in these movies, in action movies. It's weird actually to see like how things used to be. Like, oh, we weren't like we were realistic back then.
It's really funny what she. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a different person. I'm looking at the person who played. All right, let's keep going. Sorry.
All right, well, here's Happy Baby.
Yeah.
Then there's
Happy
like
Baby.
the green crystal.
But it's 1759. That is a bog standard DHD control crystal from Stargate. Like that is classic Stargate control crystal. Like,
Isn't it maybe more fair to
exactly.
say that it's actually this and Stargate stole it from here, given that it had
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sure Doctor Who did it before them. It's just like
Right.
a standard piece from a chandelier, but like, I mean, just watching it, I'm like, where's the DHD? Where's it at? And then 2040 is a really important time hack. So if you get when you get to 2040, let me know.
All right, let's see.
So this is they launch them off into space.
Yeah, and then there's like the 3-hour-long flying through space montage. The cheesy. What was that? You were looking for
2040. So the great thing about all the stuff that happened before this, where he was defending himself, he says, "I and my wife will not leave this planet," and you're like, you're saying your kids will. Then I mean, we know what you're saying, And also, why don't you leave if you truly believe the planet's going to blow up to the point where you're sending your son off? Fuck those guys. Just take off.
Technically correct, the best kind of correct.
No, we must keep our word to this dead planet and stay and die. Well, it'll be fine. You can just fly through space, go through the Phantom Zone, land on some weird planet. Maybe if we're lucky, a completely random farmer will find him and not treat him terribly. It's like, what? What are you doing? You're not a good parent.
These effects are not very good.
The thing I said about 2040, I was like, everyone dies by crystal. And if you look at their houses, there's crystals. Like if you trip and fall on Krypton, you're getting stabbed.
Yeah,
these are not safe houses.
And not only that, but then later on, Clark decided to decorate his Fortress of Solitude using the same interior decorator. And it just seems like he would have maybe not done that. I like that Clark has 3 years of Brando training.
Can you imagine how terminally tall that would be?
I was in a fire, and someday in the future, I will be in the island of Dr. Moreau.
Can you imagine, like, is there like a spiky crystal cleaning this baby up? Like every time he poops, is there crystal reaching out and scraping it off? Is he eating crystal? How does he survive? I mean,
he has 3 seashells.
This is not my idea of a good daycare situation. Okay.
This makes me wonder about Baby Yoda. Is somebody taking care of Baby Yoda right now?
Who's taking care of Baby Yoda right now? Okay.
All right. Well,
the thing I have is like 20 minutes in when Clark plays AAA for.
Oh no, we gotta go. We gotta go to minute 24 because you got to see Baby Junk.
That's not. I mean, come on, YouTube. Maybe we shouldn't YouTube it like that.
But look at that. Okay. Oh no. Okay, let's go. He stands up and they totally show his little junk.
Yeah, I know. I remember that from when I saw it in the movie theater. I was like, oh, yeah,
What the
good.
heck?
Yeah, so 26
I just
minutes
wanted to
is when
say.
he lifts the car up.
Well, so okay, Ma Kent says he hasn't got any family, not around here. Like she just knows,
How do you know? I
right?
mean, maybe his family is alive as they should be on the spaceship, and you should go rescue them. That's where they should be. They shouldn't have stayed behind on stupid Krypton.
I love that they get the Superman theme behind there and just a little tiny light. Oh, it's so good.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, and then he's a football water boy nerd,
Right, and he's like being played by an actor who's 21, who looks 27 and is playing 16.
Yeah, I these actors. It's so funny.
Oh, there's one that I wanted to show you. The chase scene. I mean, so this is one.
This was so dumb. I didn't remember this. I didn't remember this at all.
This is not in the original cut because I remember this getting read because the actress or the girl in the train who looks at him is Lois, and that they're like, but that was not in the original cut. It was shot and they spliced it into this shit. But my favorite here is
That makes Lois like
watch him run. I killed the sound so we could. He's like, no, I'm totally running. Look.
I'm sorry. I have to say, whoever did that running effect is the same person who did it for Twilight. You know, the backpacked,
I'm on Spider Monkey
effect. Oh, it's so dumb. Yeah, look at this guy's face. Hey, I'm running. So that's supposed to be Lois, is what you're saying? So he's ostensibly 18 or so in this scene,
right?
And because he's running home and his father's about to have his heart attack,
right?
So he's 18 and she is 11.
8. Yeah,
8. She's got to be a little older than 8, but she's not a teenager though. She is not. I mean, she's 10. Maybe
the age gap is still more appropriate than Marlon Brando.
Well, that's what maybe true. And he trends young, Superman does because he's immortal.
Right? That's true. I mean, it's really hard for us to actually know how old he is.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't age like that. He's an alien.
So watching Kent die still got me. Like, I was like, oh no.
I felt bad for him, He's like, oh, my arm. And it's like, oh, that sucks, And to this actor's credit, I sort of felt like he cared. Like it actually seemed like it affected him. Like this guy, he was a good dad. He adopted this random ass alien from the field, and he made it work. So like this, honestly, probably a better father than Marlon Brando would have been. I mean, let's be clear.
Who changed more diapers?
I mean, literally. I mean, this guy, he is. I mean, Clark Kent's, and maybe all of us are lucky that he's the one who adopted him. And so he didn't turn out like a psychopath. Although he is a little gropey, as we'll see at minute 51, 58. But let's keep going.
There's let's not talk about we'll get there. So yeah, it's super sad. The thing that I wonder, and there's probably information about this, but throughout all of these scenes, that like the corn, not this scene that looks bad, but like the clouds. And like the vistas of fields of corn and everything.
And like, was this like an old quarry? Why is there this massive canyon in Smallville? I didn't think Smallville had canyons.
But this is back in the olden days, right? If you want to have like weather like this, it looks like you got a lightsaber in that shot. Look at this. Like if you want to film a shot like this in 1978, you have to wait for clouds. Like that's cool.
Like, does Kansas have clouds like this all the time? I don't know. I'd imagine this has got to be just like a matte picture behind them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not real.
That's true. They don't look composited. I mean, they look.
Stop. So look, what did I tell you about? They're compositing when they have a ton of weird fog effects, like literally everything above there. Yeah, you're drawing where I'm drawing.
Yeah. All right, here's the thing. I don't know. Those shots.
I don't know.
Those shots work for me.
They do. Right. They're good. Okay, so now we're in foggy zone.
These are less good.
Yeah, this is super foggy zone. Yeah, so my only note for this was at 41:14, quote, he fucks up the North Pole with that fortress. Like, this is very anti-eco.
Do you got a permit?
Well, no, I mean, like he's throwing it in. There's this melting thing, so he's clearly consuming and heating the ice shelf. That can't be good for global warming, right? So
I'll tell you what really bothered me, and I kept like having a real problem with this, is that in the in the Superman mythos, the color green is always associated with kryptonite, and so that it is associated with badness. And so to like see him wielding around this green crystal, like I feel like they should have chosen like a red or a blue, a Superman-y color, because the green to me felt like it should be
yeah, right.
There it goes, melting.
melting.
Yeah, and then we get the spiky,
Boom.
pokey, stabby house.
This would make an excellent album cover as well.
Right? Like Yes or
Yep.
yeah, very much a Yes album cover. And it's so like precarious. Like I'm not a super klutz, but I would feel a little like iffy walking around this place, you know. And if you fall, where do you fall? You fall into the Phantom Zone, or you fall onto a spike. You know, it's like this is not fun. But we only find out about like what happens if you fall in Superman 2.
This is the worst user interface of any computing system ever.
And how does he know it? Was part of his 3-year training on the alien ship, like how to
And
use
he
an
somehow
alien
remembers
computer?
from 15 years ago.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I know this. It's a Unix system.
I know this. This is Unix. I know this.
So, all right, Brando's face is pretty next level crazy in this scene.
So wacky.
This is one of the only shots in the movie that I actually felt like, okay, this is bad. Like they should have made a better creative decision.
A better job. They should have had him be like a crystal face or something. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what you do.
That's what they did. They made a crystal face out of him. That's right.
Yeah.
This is where they got the crystal skull from.
Oh. But like the effect just doesn't work. It just looks dumb, and I hate it. And this scene made me sad. The other thing that is worth okay, that's a little better, but some of the shots are just bad. But then you get this thing, man. He's got to like tell him all his stuff, and like the humans are dumb, and like okay, so he trains there for 12 years. 12 years. I think that's
12 years. Wait, he's 30 when he leaves the Fortress of Solitude?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He trained for 12 years, and that's why this is where he learns to fly.
It's so dumb. So I said my notes for this were the fortress is basically a weird pyramid, and an inverted pyramid is the style of writing in 80s journalism.
Whoa. All of the things there clearly are just like dyes having alcohol dripped on them. It's awesome. There's Crystal Brando.
Crystal Skull.
And we got to fly at the ultra and the music on.
So weird. And here's the flying. Chris Reeves.
Here we go.
Flying now.
Flying towards you.
47 and 53. And we delivered on Superman.
I mean, it was a long journey.
Yeah.
And his flying skills were solid.
Totally.
So my next point. So remember, you have to stop at 51-58 on the nose. But let's talk about what happens in between, because he gets to meet Perry White.
Oh, yeah, well, and I'll just fast forward it through, but I really actually like how they introduce Lois and everybody, because she asks how many T's in bloodletting, and then when you introduce Perry, he says there's only one P in rapist.
That was hilarious.
That is dark, man.
It is dark, and it's also like she should know how to spell this shit. I mean, let's be real, But yeah, so I really liked this Perry White. I even liked the Jimmy Olsen, even though he was a little too boy reporter, cub reporter. But I like him. He's a likable guy. So you have to hit 51-58 on the nose.
All right.
This is after he's been assigned to the city desk with Lois, and she's expected to take him under her wing.
Give us a few seconds. Just a few seconds before then.
Yeah.
Do we need sound?
Yeah. Yeah. Just tell what I said.
Look, Clark can't be seen with just a mild mannered report, but listen, not only does he know how to treat his editor-in-chief with the proper respect, not only does he have a snappy, punchy prose style, but he is, in my 40 years in this business, the fastest typist I've ever seen.
Really, the best qualifications for a reporter for typing speed.
Excuse me, Mr. White.
Is that what you wanted?
No, it's 51-58.
Oh.
He passes the salary to his mother, his sainted mother.
It's so good.
51-58. You're almost there. You might have to just
There we go.
and 57, 58. Pause. Okay, give it like a half second more. Like tap tap.
Oh, he's feeling
A
her.
little more.
Look at that hand.
If you catch it right, I mean, he is
Handsy.
in there, and I'm like, dude, that's a lot.
All right, my next and
And
one.
then I have 5240 is really important to me.
5240.
I
Right
never
here.
realize. You know how I sometimes say things? Scooch back 3 seconds. This is where I got it.
What did you want?
You ever like? Yeah,
Yeah.
just hit play. Just hit play. That's it. That's it. That's where I got it. This is where I say why I say swell is because of this stupid
That
movie.
moment.
And people still look at me like I'm an alien whenever I say it. Yeah.
Kind of true.
Yep.
All right, let's see. So I wanted to see. So they go out, and then she gets mugged, and it's like the most charming like introduction to like his whole deal. But okay, where is the shot when he looks at the bullet at the end? And I want to know if he looked at the camera and like does a take to the camera.
It almost seemed like he was fourth walling it.
Is he looking
But
at
he
the
was
camera?
looking at her. He was
Okay.
looking at her walking away. And I was like, haha, she didn't know that I saved her. All right, I'm going to present for one moment here.
All
I'm just
right,
going to
take
present
it.
one window.
It might take me a while to get it back.
No, I think you'll be able to do it fast.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, when I stop, it might revert to you anyway. So, okay, did that come through?
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Jeez.
I had it paused on that one frame before there.
yeah, like, I mean, that's pretty deep. That's all I really wanted to show you. Okay, there you go. So we can repin you, probably.
I mean, I would prefer it if we could have it. I mean, if it's just in the little window, that's fine with me.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll probably be less likely to run afoul of grumpy forces. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, there's a salesman and he's got his blind dog watching for crime.
Was that Stan Lee? No, all right.
It looks like it, right?
Kinda.
But yeah, the dog is barking because the henchman is trying to steal a newspaper and the guy's blind, and that's just awesome.
Yeah, it was really funny.
That is some
okay, stop. Okay, no, you can keep going. That was just, hey, they're hanging around.
This scene is also really registered for me because of the secret entrance.
Yeah, I loved that when I was a kid.
Oh man, because I mean, as a child, really all you ever want is like your own little secret base.
Secret door, right? I mean, that's the whole point of the shed.
What?
But like, and then that's right, he gets pushed out into the train. Splat.
Lex, you're being a jerk to that guy.
Well, he's wearing the kind of hat that really upsets me.
Ugh, it shoves him.
Yeah, it's kind of cheesy. The next big action set. Oh well, it's set in what looks like a submerged Grand Central Station.
Yeah, it does. But then there's other scenes in Grand Central Station.
It's weird, It's like, was this just a Grand Central Station that we never knew about, or it was built on the ruins of this one, like in The Lost Boys? That chapel that went underground. Anyway, if the next big action scene is a helicopter rescue,
I wanted to say, but I just wanted to say it is interesting that Lex doesn't show up in this movie until 5840.
Yeah,
like it's a long time before you get Lex Luthor. And then a whole bunch of stuff happens, but then the helicopter scene is super cool. And I wonder
what the thing about this that's really interesting is in 1977, a Pan Am helicopter service to Midtown New York crashed and killed a bunch of people and killed people on the street with falling debris, right? So this was basically filmed right at the same time. And I'm wondering, like, what was like the city thinking? Like, hey, we're gonna film this thing, and then it actually happens, and they ban all helicopter flights into the center of town. I mean, it's weird, man. It's kind of spooky.
So, look, he can't change in the phone booth. That's not a regular booth.
Well, I thought I loved this. I thought it was like this great, like he's like, listen, this is a modern Superman. I can't change in payphones because they're not made like that anymore. This is a modern New York City
But oh man,
that hasn't banned helicopter flights yet.
hold on. Oh, you know what? I lost sound because I'm not in presentation mode.
Why don't you go into presentation mode
Let's see
again?
if I can figure out how to do that.
Take a moment. And I can talk more about helicopter crashes because literally after 1977, they banned all helicopter flights that crossed actually into the city. So you have to get on the docks in the financial district or at the 34th Street heliport, or there's like another one uptown, but they're all on the river, right? So when a helicopter crashes now, it crashes in the river and kills everybody. So, and that happens about once every 5 years.
Correct. That's the wrong window. I'm presenting with the wrong window. Stop.
No, I'm sorry I screwed you up.
It's all right. I don't actually care.
You should probably stop presenting and then start presenting again from that interface.
Well, the problem is I can't figure out which of the windows that is one of the
there you go. You did it.
chromes is Superman, and the other chrome is live streaming to Jake and to Elon.
And to Tom.
And to Tom. All right.
Tom,
I think this is my presentation mode window. Chrome tab.
And the thing is, I would like to think that Christopher Reeves, the groping was just a mistake.
I'm sure it was.
It doesn't seem like it seemed like anything more than that. So.
Well, it's like in Return of the Jedi, where Han Solo just straight up feels up Leia in front of the shield base on Endor. Like, it's really blunt. You have to assume that, like, you're acting, you're jumping around. I'm hoping that was an accident. Music. Superman! That guy!
I like it was like, excuse me. This was a little racist.
Little bit stereotypical.
Racist.
Okay, the other thing that I love here, when he grabs the helicopter, like, I don't know a lot about the engineering of a helicopter, but it strikes me that if you're going to try to hold the entire mass of a helicopter from its foot, that you're going to for a bad time.
I mean, that's what failed and caused the crash at the Pan Am building was the attachment point of the foot, of the skid of the helicopter.
Bam. Okay, so there.
That's no. I don't know. It could have been, but honestly, so much force would have happened just by him stopping its fall. Yeah. It would have collapsed into him. I mean, but it's a movie. But but literally, it's spooky how much this is either. I mean, they couldn't have filmed it right after. They filmed it right before it actually happened, So it's very prophetic. Oh, and these cops are just like, like, did he bring the boat or did he bring was the boat there? It didn't make any sense. I don't understand their boats.
But here's the best thing in the entire universe, man.
The longest, you mean?
He literally saves the cat. Normally you're supposed to save the cat by like page 15.
Yeah, that was kind of sweet.
Yeah. Have you ever read that book? I keep meaning to.
No, I just don't care. I can't go back in time that far. This was hard enough. This is about when I was starting to get sleepy, by the way. So
all right.
My notes fall off.
We're kind of beginning to fall away from the fun parts of the movie.
Well, okay, so here's the Air Force One saving, and it's first of all, they have so many people in the cockpit. I would like to get this off to like the Flight 73 guy or whatever. He's a 747 pilot guy.
Absolutely love everything about his base here.
Yeah, the weird pool in the submerged.
It's so strange. And he's like yelling at Ned Beatty so much. He's so mean. Give me my shit.
Like projector screens in his underground basement with fake sky.
And she's got like a tanning bulb, a UV tanning bulb, and he's got great rugs everywhere.
Hey, boss.
I kind of felt bad for Ned Beatty. It's like he was treated pretty shabbily by Lex Luthor,
He's a bad employer.
Otisville.
He's not getting good, like, full dental or anything.
No. And he needs it.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
He's got a...
Her penthouse is Looney Tunes.
And we're almost to the interior monologue while flying scene.
Oh, yeah. That's the real... I don't know if I have the time code on this, but this whole thing is like he tells her, he's like, oh, do you have any weaknesses? I can't see through lead. That won't come back to haunt me. That I just told a reporter my major weakness.
Okay, if I go to February 1977. Okay, 1977. Here we go. So the average price of a new home sold in the United States in 1977 was, $53,000, right? So, what was a reporter getting paid in 77? Maybe 10 grand a year.
Yep.
She could do it. Maybe she inherited, like a lot of the people in journalism, you got to get your money from somewhere because journalism doesn't pay. Oh.
Just tells her, I can see through. I can't see through lead. That's cool. Oh,
yeah, New York didn't see any real price appreciation until like 1988. That's when things really started going up.
So right before that scene, she asks him what color her underwear is, and then as she walks away from the lead pot, he tells her pink.
Yep.
Like, that's a little racy. I don't know you get away with that anymore.
It's kind of sexy. I mean, they're bantering,
Oh. And also, right as he takes her up into the sky, I don't know if we want to watch through the whole part, but she's like, I'm going to need to go get my sweater. And he's like, you don't need a sweater. Like, what a dick. Does Superman keep you warm with his heat?
Yeah, he's very hot.
What's your background? Where do you hail from?
Well, it's hard to explain, actually. See, I'm from...
Yeah, because I'm from another planet.
Another galaxy.
Kind of weird. But then, yeah. The 5-minute
longest tour
I feel
of
like
New York City ever.
Do, 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 do. I have that song forever programmed into my brain.
Yeah, you and me both.
Although it's John Williams, so it sounds pretty much like, half of the sequences from Empire Strikes Back. So yeah, then...
and then he shows up for his date.
Clark. Yeah,
So she double booked a date with Superman and Clark Kent. This is the thing. He's not showing up by mistake. He's showing up because they had a date.
Yeah, it's on purpose.
And she scheduled a date with him, knowing she's going to be hanging with Superman.
But then he chickens out. And check that. Okay, say what you will. The acting between those two scenes, he's good.
Well, no, this was going around the internet a couple of a month ago, where they're like, watch him go from nebbish to stellar to nebbish in one fell swoop, and it's just like acting.
It's really impressive. So now they actually get to the plot in general.
I spent the night with Superman.
We're gonna yeah, right.
Army units.
So then they do this whole thing with Tessmacher, and
that was actually kind of funny.
But the one that I really wanted to point out is in the following sequence. Like, so Tessmacher is like always being crapped on. Like he's not nice to her. But she's like literally hanging outside of the bridge. Like, hey, I'm gonna do all the stuff. Like, she's doing the actual work, and all these two bozos are doing is yammering. So all I'm saying is I think Tessmacher might be the real supervillain here.
Yeah, I mean, they did this thing in the 70s and the 80s where they treat women pretty shabbily, and she's...
I'm glad they fixed that now, and that never happens anymore.
Yeah, it's way better now.
Does the 220 cut include the scene at the end where Lex is going to do away with her and Superman saves her?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's
that's
up thing.
Yeah, that comes at the end of this, right? Wait, stop. When you get to 151:07, you have to stop.
To note, what did I have at 146? We actually get like the first scene where Lex and Superman actually finally see each other.
That's right.
You're going a long ways in your movies to get to get your heroes to actually meet the bad guys.
The meet cute.
Yep.
And this is where he kryptonites him.
He kryptonites him.
And then what's her name? Tessmacher lets him free.
Lets him go. In a lead box because Lois Lane printed his weakness in the newspaper.
Wait, stop. Scooch back to 151:07. So go forward like 1 second. Stop. You know who that is, right?
Cliff Clavin.
Cliff Clavin.
Cliff
Norm.
Clavin is in
Not
this.
Norm.
And he's
the
in
other guy.
Empire.
Yeah, he's in everything, and he's like in every Toy Story. I was like, dude, it's Cliff Clavin. And then I promptly fell asleep after this. So I'm just.
And I think I only actually had 2 notes after this because this is where the movie like falls apart, and they were like, "Well, we got to freaking end this thing.
We got to wrap it up."
And it's not going to be Richard Donner directing part 2. So
we're going to be doing some time travel.
Right. So, all right. So she rescues him, right? Because she's like, all like, you got to save my dad first.
Mom.
But then, okay, like from the time she decides to help him, and then she steals the smooch, like in that whole sequence, like the amount of time that he fails to save Lois Lane could easily have been saved if she just didn't try to mac on him. So all I'm saying is she's the real supervillain here.
I don't know. I think that he could have hopped out of that swimming pool at any moment. And he's like, I don't know. I'm kind of into Tessemacher here. I think he's touching her. He's like, he's like, no, I guess I got to go. I got to save California, but maybe I'll come back later. I mean, that was him keeping an option open.
So, all right. All of the things that everybody
it's so dumb.
It's
dumb. Yeah. Like the scene with the lava. I'm like, no, just don't.
The Hoover Dam falling apart.
Of course.
Yeah. And poor Jimmy Olsen about to eat it.
A lot of bad miniature work that doesn't quite hold up. If you actually like, one of the things I did enjoy through a lot of these like crowd panic scenes, and I'm not going to make you sit through them, but when you see the crowd panicking and running about, there's some really excellent bell bottoms. It's like it is very 70s.
Yeah, it's very 70s. It's very 30 mile zone of Los Angeles, and then cutting to the miniature being destroyed.
Yeah,
and balsa wood going everywhere.
Indiana Jones wants his ball back. All right, and then I had one more thing that I wanted to do at 210 and 11. I mean, Superman's going to feel more than most of us, and we just understand that, right?
He's got a lot of feelings.
He's got a lot of emotions, but ain't nobody scream like him.
No.
No, do I not have sound?
No.
Oh, poopy.
That's okay.
I claim his scream is choice. And it's probably the only part in the whole movie where I think his acting just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That was my last note. He turns back time, and in the original Mario Puzo script, that was supposed to happen at the end of the second movie. So that's like all of the stuff, like there's a whole ton of stuff that got rekajiggered in the last act of this movie, and then the entire first act of the second movie is like just this whole hodgepodge of like sitcom crap that they filmed to pad the runtime.
I will say though, I mean, the more modern Man of Steel, I guess, was the first one in this cycle, was equally as boring and stupid, if not boringer and stupider.
I had to explain to my children this scene that they were watching, and I was like, "You see, children, there's a thing called due process. That's a little bit of a problem for Superman. True justice in the American way, except for due process." Ta-da! Gene Hackman is so good in this movie.
He's so every scene he's in, he just owns. It's like there's nobody else in the movie when he's talking.
Doo-doo-doo.
All right, that's it. So cool, great. So we'll figure out our next Necro review.
Movies to make fun of from ancient times.
Yeah, right. Well, no, we're starting with the color era of comic book and superhero movies. Right?
Can I show one scene from 258 on the extended cut?
Why, yes, that's wonderful.
258 on the extended cut. I'm jealous.
Wow, 258. That's a lot of time.
right? That's 38 more than I can handle.
I'm not sure if this is actually going to work or not. Try it.
It's working.
Okay.
Bet you showed the other kids how.
Oh,
I
I've never seen this.
Oh my, they got him to sing?
I bet you made the cutest bow. Ah, you must have been a beautiful baby.
They're so mean to him.
Baby.
What? I've never seen this, Nate.
He killed her?
Because I love you, Mr. Smoker. Mr. Smoker.
I thought she was in the second movie.
She gets saved by Superman.
Wow. This is a terrible
By the way,
scene.
Mr. Smoker, your mother sends you love.
Yeah. Anyway, that was it.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you told us about that, because that was the icing on the shit cake. Mwah. That was the poop icing. I swear. That was so good. Thank you. I owe you one, Nate.
I have bad news though. I think we lost our frame sync when I stopped presenting. OBS lost that frame, so
okay.
It's tragic.
At the end of it. I saw it, and maybe
It was awesome
I
for
don't
us.
know.
It was
Wow,
awesome.
258 on the extended edition. It's basically Superman saving Tessemacher from a ridiculous sound effect of tigers or Carol Baskin.
Gene Hackman playing the piano and singing while he's going to execute his other
Poor Ned
one of
Beatty.
two henchmen, like his and probably the only competent one.
It's really true. It's
Uh-oh,
really true.
seeing this calendar. I'm streaming the calendar now. All right. I am going to. Okay, when we stopped presenting, we desynced the video from the stream.
Oh no.
The frame was paused. Whatever.
Okay, we won't do that again.
We'll get better next time. Folks, this has been episode 445 of Geeks in Space, The Distancing of the Juggalos, otherwise known as the Superman 1978 special. I'm Rob Commander Takamalda. Thank you, Nato Sender.
See you guys.
Thank you, Chris Devona.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.